Hi, my name is Catherine Scott, and I am going to go through this case study called Internet Use Violations. So the first thing that needs to happen is reading through the case study and kind of figuring out what do we know. The key people in here, Mrs. Walker, she is the high school science teacher that is receiving an email after a long weekend. It was on a Sunday. The email stated for her to go log on to a website, and then when she got to that website, there were comments and crude remarks about Miss Walker, and then it also stated on that website that they hoped that she would disappear. But we also know what happened before the incident in question. And before that happened, students and parents had complained about Mrs. Walker with how much assignments she was giving. Because of the assignments she was giving, the workload and the amount of assignments was causing students to be stressed and worry about what their GPA was going to be due to her classes. So there are some things that we're not quite sure about to figure this. We don't know the exact names. We have one name, but of students who are upset with Miss Walker. There's been multiple complaints, but there's only one person that Miss Walker actually stated might have a concern about. We also need to know the laws or the policies that are set up for the school that protect teachers in situations when they are being threatened over cyberspace. We also need to know who created the website or sent the email to Miss Walker with the threats. So, with what we know and what we still need to know, it leads us to our problem. So, the big thing is what we want to find out. Did someone intend to threaten Miss Walker, or was it just a prank? Was she really in danger of being physically harmed? But there's also another problem deeper than that, probably led up to this situation, which is Miss Walker's relationships with students. Is difficult and is making it hard for the students to feel like their academics are being successful. So, my plan would be to work with Miss Walker to resolve the situation. Also work with the district technology specialist to determine the origin or responsible party for the email and website creation, seeing what can be traced back to the person or people who created the website and sent the email. And then also, upon returning to school, talking with students or classes and finding out who knows any information, or if somebody had talked about the website or the email before or after the event took place. So, in order to do these things, part of my strategies would be trying to talk calmly, definitely to Miss Walker, to get as much information about the incident as possible, but also understanding that we need to have facts rather than opinions or speculation of who did what. This also this manner also has to happen when I'm talking to the students or the classes. I also have to follow the district protocols or policies that are in place for internet threats, and how that is taken for staff members. Then also having discussions, newsletters, assembly, a meeting that probably reviews or goes over threats that are to one another, or especially to teachers. And then there probably has to be some discussion and strategy in there to get through the students that are probably the underlying cause of feeling stressed and not able to communicate very well with Miss Walker for her class, thus turning to something inappropriate to show their feelings. So when I think about what is best for students and the plan, thinking about students who need to be respected and given benefits, and listening to them to try to find out information about the email or the website. But also I need to be focusing and addressing the concerns students are feeling with the stress levels in Miss Walker's classes. And then I also have to be thinking about how to increase positive interactions with Miss Walker and her students. Because when the relationships are better, we are going to see the situation that happened not take place again. So, part of my resolution would involve speaking with Randy, who was one of the people that she suggested might have been somebody to look into, but also talking to other classmates in the group of students who may have, had access to, or even just are technology, conscientious. I'd also want to find out who other students who might not be doing so well with Miss Walker or have put complaints in. But I also would have to do the technical side of working with the district specialist to identify the sender of the email and the creator of the website. So, when responding, there are 3 areas to respond with: the thinking, the feeling, and valuing. So, I have to be aware and think about the intentions of what the website was to do. Was it to scare? Was it to really threaten her? Was it a prank? Was it ha-ha funny? Or was it intentional? Like, which side is it going on? I also have to think about how I have conversations with Miss Walker and also with the students. So I also think about the feelings. I know that Miss Walker is upset, and so she's emotional, and I need to be very aware of what I say to put her at ease and see if I can resolve this problem. I also have to calm Miss Walker down so I can find out the facts, especially if we're talking about Monday and she's still upset about it, to keep that level of calm. I have to value that teachers need to feel safe with their students and not feel scared to come to school. Vice versa, kids can't feel scared to come to school, but understanding that, we want our teachers to not be threatened. But also on the other side, so I'm protecting my teachers, but also thinking about my students, as far as I want my students to know I'm not accusing them of anything. I just like to know a little bit more information and see how to resolve the problem. So there are some also other things that aren't addressed, Mrs. Walker students are still having high levels of stress. There are concerns about the workload. There's also concerns about the instructions, or the poor instruction for Miss Walker. But also, I would like Miss Walker to encourage and get some more positive interactions with her students. So, the ways that I feel like I've acted with integrity, I model and have high standards for my school, teachers, and students. I definitely want highly qualified teachers for my school, and when I chose Miss Walker, I felt she was highly qualified. I have established myself as a respected principal, and I've won awards for that, and I pride myself on working my way up and being the best principal I can be. So, ways that I've treated people with respect. I have listened to teachers, and I will want to get facts before jumping to conclusions. I understand Mrs. Walker's concerns and try to calm her down. I want to listen to her. I also want to hear from the students and hear information they might know about the situation, and hear it from their mouths and not just one side of the story. So, keeping professional code of ethics. I know that there's a concern with Miss Walker feeling safe, so I definitely need to be conscious of that. I also want to keep Miss Walker calm, because sometimes when emotions get involved, you have to worry about things being said that you wouldn't want to be said. I also have to think about having my teachers and students have positive relationships, and I want to keep those lines of communications open and make everything work out for the best in both parties, for teachers and for students. Thank you.